Hello everybody, my name is Ardalan Bilavizadeh. For composting of exotic mushroom, for composting we need two substrates. Sawdust, you can't see, this is the sawdust, and this is wood chips. Wood chips and the sawdust. In the wood, this wood, and now I want to show you, this is the residues of the wood, and for example the sawdust. In each workshop, after related to the work, you can define sawdust and wood chips. For the composting, we need the first step that we need the ratio of the carbon to nitrogen. The ratio of the carbon to nitrogen in the composting of exotic mushroom should be near 30 to 35. We should know what is the ratio of the carbon in this sawdust, in the wheat straw. In the exotic mushroom, wheat straw, for the providing the carbon, we can use the wheat straw, wood chips, and the sawdust. The majority of the exotic mushroom composting, the exotic mushroom grower, use the wood chips and the sawdust. Because the wheat straw is so expensive, other industry like the poultry, like the other industry in the agriculture use the wheat straw. Access to wheat straw is very hard because very expensive. But you can find to all the workshop to do all the wood carpenter and all, you can use the wood chips and the sawdust. Now in the composting of the exotic mushroom, you cannot only use the sawdust. Why we cannot only use, for example, 100% sawdust? Because the particle is so small, very close particle. There is not any free space for the mycelium, and the mycelium after the short time will be suffocated, and we don't recommend if you use the sawdust. About the wood chips, also we have the problem. The particle is the bigger than the sawdust, but the wood chips we don't have concentrated of the wood, and mycelium we have the large space. Mycelium cannot concentrate and the feeding from the mycelium cannot the feeding from the tube, very large. And we should recommend for the exotic mushroom compost mix of the wood chips and the sawdust. This is the ideal mixing. This is ideal for the composting of the exotic mushroom. The problem will be removed together, solve their problems together. And usually, let me give you example. For example, if we have the flame, if the fire, when you put in the sawdust in the fire, for example, if you with the fire turn on this sawdust, in the first step the flame is very high power, but even the short time the flame will be off. Even the short time, this is the short time we lost the power of the fire. But if we receive the fire for the long time, we have the fire exactly like the camp. We want to in the holiday we want to turn on for the barbecue. But if you put it in the fire for the long time, we have the wood chips. But sawdust, when you turn on this, we have the grade of the fire is so high, but the short time, but the flame is the low, but for the long time we have the fire. Therefore in the composting of the exotic mushrooms, the mycelium very short time feed this sawdust, and for the short time we have the mushroom. But the wood chips in the long time provide the feeding the carbon for the mycelium. Therefore, for example, if we only use sawdust for the mushroom composting, after 1 month, after the 3 weeks, the mushroom will be finished. But with this wood chips, we have the long time. We can harvest the mushroom. But recommend, we don't want have a long time. We don't want for long time harvest the mushroom. We don't want for the short time mushroom. Therefore, we mix both of them, and this is very ideal for composting of the exotic mushroom. I told you that is very important for the tree that uses for the tree that uses for the exotic mushroom. This is the oak trunk, very good. Poplar, alder, oak, they are ideal for the exotic mushroom composting. You can use this. It is much better you use the tree that they are in the far from the industrial city. For example, if you harvest the trunk from the road, we have the danger of the penetrating the chemicals, because on the road they are the worker, all chemical, we have the danger. For example, the chemical factories, because they are easily absorb the chemicals, and also in the mushroom, in the analysis of the mushroom, we can see it is better uses around the far from the city. The trunk that we uses, it is much better. The regions that we don't have chemicals activity, like the worker that they repair the road, it's much better. And for the composting of the exotic mushroom, the ratio of carbon to nitrogen is very important. C to N should be 30 to 35. The amount of the carbon in the wheat straw is near the 45, the ratio of the carbon. The amount of the carbon in the sawdust or the wood chips is between the 50 to 90. I told you the ratio of the carbon to nitrogen should be 30, and therefore we should also provide for the mushroom, because all mushroom, for the harvesting, for the creating the mushroom, we need to carbon and nitrogen. I told you the ratio is the 30, and the amount of the carbon, if we in the sawdust and the mix of the wood chips, is the 60. Therefore, we need the amount of the nitrogen like the 2/2, for example 2, 3, 4. And for providing the nitrogen in the composting, we need to other substrate. For example, for the amount of the carbon, this the sawdust and the wood chip or wheat straw provide carbon. For nitrogen, we can use the cottonseed meal, soybean meal, in the rapeseed meal, wheat bran. They are great for providing the nitrogen. You should know the amount of the nitrogen in this substrate. For example, in the soybean meal, in the rapeseed meal, the near the 7. In the wheat bran is the near 4. In the rice bran is the near 2. You should calculate. For example, if you use the mix of the sawdust and the wood chips, for example, if you use 80 kilogram of the sawdust and the wood chips, and you want to use 20 kilogram, you calculated 20 kilogram wheat bran. Now, if you want to, instead of the wheat bran, use soybean meal, therefore you should decrease the unit of the nitrogen that you want. Instead of the 20 kilogram wheat bran, now you want to soybean. It's, for example, it's much better you use 10 kilogram or 12 kilogram soybean meal, because we cannot, for example, in the formula we'll calculate it for the compost. We have the 80 kilogram, the mix of the wood chips and the sawdust, and the 20 kilogram wheat bran. Now we want to remove the wheat bran, and instead of the wheat bran, we want to use soybean meal. Now you cannot use each same 20 kilogram soybean meal, because the amount of the carbon, the soybean meal is the high, and instead of the 20 kilogram, even the 12 kilogram of the soybean meal is enough for composting of the exotic mushroom. Thank you so much.